What's your name?
My name is Caroline Rein.
What do you do here?
I'm an assistant costume shop manager, and I am also a costume designer.
What does that mean?
Assistant costume shop manager, I help run the costume shop, and a costume designer, I design the costumes for some of the shows you've seen, like Little Shop, Beauty and the Beast, and upcoming Waitress.
Where are you from?
I am from Los Osos, California, so right up the road from here.
Pismo or Avila?
Pismo.
Pick one, the Marion, the Severson, or Solvang Festival Theater.
The Marion.
How did you get involved in your field?
I've been seeing shows here since I was a small kid. My first show was actually Peter Pan with Eric Stein as Captain Hook, which is really cool because he was the director for Beauty and the Beast, and it was a dream of mine to work with him. And so, I mean, that's pretty fascinating. But I went to Cal Poly for a theater degree. Didn't intend on doing theater. I just want to learn more about it. Fell in love with it. Josh McAmer, the chair of the department at the time, was like, hey, you might actually be good at this. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll try it. And then I fell in love, and I haven't stopped doing theater since.
What's been your PCPA journey?
I was an intern back in 2017 after I graduated from Poly. Actually, there was kind of a month of overlap where I was taking classes and being an intern full time, which was really challenging. I don't recommend that. But yeah, I was an intern in the summer of 2017 and then again in the summer of 2018. Then I went away to grad school, got an MFA in costume design, and then came back fall of 2022 to do Cinderella, and I have been here ever since.
What's a show you've worked on that you're really proud of?
Beauty and the Beast. To be perfectly honest, that was one of the hardest shows I've designed, partly because, you're making humans into teapots. That's really weird, and we're on a budget because we're a local theater. And so we just trying to make all of it work and tell the story to the greatest effect is really fun. But Beauty and the Beast was really challenging, but super rewarding. It was one of my favorites.
What do you wish people knew more about PCPA?
PCPA has an acting conservatory, but they also have a tech conservatory. And the tech conservatory students put a lot of the shows up on stage, and so really they're to blame for all the shows being well lit. And with costumes that fit and everything like that, the tech conservatory students do a lot of work, and they bring such joy to my life, and so that we have a tech conservatory is super important.
Who is one of your favorite collaborators here?
Eric. I said earlier that he was in the first show I ever saw in theater. So it's always special to work with him, but he's also just genuinely a good person, and he knows how to make it work, and he's done shoestring budget shows, and he's so creative. He thinks limitations are like the best thing for creativity, and so it's really fun to work with him.
What 3 words would you use to describe your team on costumes?
Passionate, funny, and dedicated. That's for sure.
Yeah. Who should do this interview series next?
Props.
Favorite restaurant on the Central Coast?
I like Taqueria Santa Cruz Express in Slow. It's a hole in the wall on Foothill, and they have really good burritos.
What is your favorite part of your job?
I really love working with actors, being in fittings. It's just so much fun. It's really fun to see them put on their costume and become the character, because there's only so much you can do in the rehearsal room when you don't have the corset on or anything else. And so you put on a waitress dress here the first time, you're like, oh wait, now I can actually see that I am Jenna. It's those moments that are just really special. So that's my favorite part.
Holiday?
Halloween.
What's your favorite Shakespeare play?
That's complicated. For histories, it's Henry V, which we just did. For tragedies, it's the Scottish play, because there's a lot of blood, and I love making blood, and it's just really fun. And for comedies, it's Midsummer Night's Dream, which is a really common answer, but it's really fun to make fairies.
What's a show you want to work
on? I really want to work on Hadestown. I know that's not going to be released anytime soon, but I love Greek mythology, or Hercules if that releases. I don't know. Anything Greek is just really fascinating for me.
So what's a show that you were most looking forward to or are most looking forward to for this season 61? Not 62, so season 61.
Got it, season 61. I really was looking forward to Beauty and the Beast. Honestly, I really love that show in general. I think the music's fun. It's Disney, but it's not the most common Disney, so you can do some things with it that you didn't get to. I got to do the Belle's ball dress as a flower petal dress instead of the classic gold dress. So you can still have fun with it. I was really looking forward to that one. And honestly, Waitress. I really love the story of Waitress. I think women's friendship and how it's featured in there is so beautiful. And I love Jenna's story about like, well, she's going to become a mother, but she doesn't want to be a mom, but she is going to be a mom. It's just beautiful. I love both shows I got to design. I'm really glad.
If you could trade places with anyone at PCPA for one day, who would it be?
So Tim and Abby have a dog named Lucy, and I want to be their dog, which I know it sounds funny, but Lucy is just so adorable, and she gets all the pets, and she's such a good girl. And yeah, no, I would want to be Lucy. Which I know is a weird answer, but like I would love to just to, run around, because she comes to tech and she'll like run and like sit and then like take naps near Tim, and I think that would be so much fun. Probably because I could just sit near him during tech anyways, and he tells the funniest one-liners.
Oh.
So does Abby.
Who's your favorite writer?
Oh. I don't know if I have a favorite writer. There's a lot of really good ones. Like when we're talking like classic literature, I really like Edgar Allan Poe. I think his like works are really fun, and I really love Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein. I think out of the classics that I read in high school and undergrad, those are my two favorites.
What's your favorite thing about living on the Central Coast?
The beach. I grew up here, so the beach is my favorite thing. Sometimes I'll just go after work. When I was a wardrobe supervisor, I used to go before work on the way to shows, because we'd have a show at 7 p.m. So if I left the beach by 3, I got there at 8 a.m. I got to go 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and then run a show that night. It was the best schedule ever. Highly recommend.
What's your favorite thing to eat for lunch?
I don't know if I have a favorite. I get a lot of Trader Joe's food, so Trader Joe's food.
Trader Joe's food. What's the most challenging part of your job?
Draping. Draping is a really challenging part of my job. It's draping is creating something from scratch. So like when it comes to costume pieces, so like making the patterns for the costumes, you're just doing it out of nothing. You have a dress form and you put fabric on it and like fold it to make the shape that you want. That is so complicated, especially getting it from the original drape to being on the stage. I've done it a few times and it's so hard, but it's so rewarding. It's really beautiful.
Where do you want to travel to next?
I want to go to New York. I've never been to New York. I want to see shows on Broadway. Never done that. I think it would be really fun.
What's a song you have on repeat?
Oh, Chappell Roan, just in general, all of her stuff right now, and Sabrina Carpenter. Basic, but I like it.
Dogs or cats?
Cats.
Sweet or savory?
It depends on the day. I like both.
Name a word that starts with the letter Q.
Queen.
Milk chocolate or dark chocolate?
Dark chocolate.
Go-to karaoke song?
Jolene by Dolly Parton.
How do you relax after a long day?
I read. I read books. I have a few good ones. I also just like vibe next to my roommate on the couch. He'll play games, and I usually just like watch things on my phone, or I'll read next to him, or crochet. I've been getting into crochet recently.
What's your proudest accomplishment?
Oh, I don't know if I have an answer for that. I think honestly being here is one of mine. I grew up coming to this theater, and so just being able to work here and like I get to costume Kitty Bailey, but I also get to work with her as a director, and it's just so cool because I've been seeing her in shows since I was little, and she's so kind, and it's fun to meet like the people you've seen as heroes and work with them and realize that they're just people too, but they're also just wonderful people. And so I guess it's this is like my proudest accomplishment is being here.
Great. That's it.
Okay,
That's
cool.
all the questions.